Have you ever wondered why almost every airplane you see is painted white? It's not just a coincidence or a boring design choice. There's actually a fascinating reason behind it, and it might surprise you. Stick around because in the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the mystery of why airplanes are almost always white. You might think it's just to keep things simple, or maybe to make the planes look clean and professional. But the truth is, there's a lot more to it than that. From fuel efficiency to safety concerns, the color white plays a crucial role in aviation that most passengers never even consider. So let's start with the most obvious reason: temperature control. White reflects sunlight better than any other color. This means that a white airplane stays cooler when it is sitting on the tarmac under the blazing sun. And trust me, on a hot summer day, that makes a big difference. A cooler plane means less energy needed for air conditioning, which in turn saves fuel. And in the airline industry, every drop of fuel saved counts. But it's not just about keeping passengers comfortable. The color white also helps protect the airplane itself. You see, airplanes are made of aluminum, which expands when it gets hot. If different parts of the plane heat up at different rates, it can cause stress on the structure. By keeping the entire plane cooler with a white paint job, airlines reduce this thermal stress and extend the life of the aircraft. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but couldn't they just use air conditioning to keep the plane cool? Well, yes, but remember what I said about fuel efficiency? Running air conditioning on the ground uses a lot of power, which means burning more fuel. And in an industry where profit margins are razor thin, every little bit helps. But temperature isn't the only reason for the white paint job. Safety plays a huge role too. In the unlikely event of an emergency, a white airplane is much easier to spot from the air or ground. This is especially important if a plane were to crash in a remote area. Search and rescue teams can locate a white object against a landscape much more quickly than a colored one. And speaking of safety, did you know that white paint makes it easier to spot cracks, dents, or other damage to the plane's exterior? That's right, maintenance crews can more easily identify potential issues on a white surface, which means problems get caught and fixed faster. It's like having a blank canvas that makes any imperfection stand out. But wait, there's more. White paint is also lighter than most other colors. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. Darker pigments often weigh more, and when you're painting something as big as an airplane, that extra weight adds up. And in aviation, every pound matters. A lighter plane uses less fuel, which again saves money and reduces environmental impact. Now, you might be wondering about all those colorful logos and designs you see on airplanes. Well, those are typically just decals or a thin layer of paint over the white base. This allows airlines to change their branding or designs without having to repaint the entire aircraft, which is a time-consuming and expensive process. Speaking of expense, white paint is generally cheaper and easier to obtain in large quantities. This might not seem like a big deal, but when you're painting a fleet of massive aircraft, the savings can be substantial. Plus, white paint tends to last longer before fading or showing wear, which means less frequent repainting. But it's not just about practicality. There's a psychological aspect to the use of white as well. White is associated with cleanliness, purity, and safety in many cultures. For nervous flyers, boarding a pristine white aircraft can provide a subconscious sense of security and reliability. Of course, there are exceptions to the white rule. Some airlines have experimented with different colors or designs to stand out from the crowd. But these are relatively rare and often come with their own set of challenges, like higher maintenance costs and reduced fuel efficiency. It's also worth noting that the tradition of white airplanes hasn't always been the norm. In the early days of commercial aviation, planes were often left unpainted to save weight. The bare metal look was actually quite popular for a while. But as aircraft became larger and more efficient, the benefits of white paint began to outweigh the slight weight penalty. So the next time you're at the airport, take a moment to appreciate the sea of white aircraft around you. Each one is a testament to the careful engineering and practical considerations that go into every aspect of air travel. From fuel efficiency to safety, from maintenance to marketing, that simple white paint job is working hard to keep you flying safely and comfortably. And here's a fun fact to leave you with. Despite being called white, airplane paint often has a slight blue or gray tint. This is to enhance visibility against clouds and sky, making the aircraft even easier to spot. It's just one more example of the thought that goes into every detail of aviation. In the end, the reason airplanes are white comes down to a combination of factors: safety, efficiency, cost-effectiveness, and practicality. It's a perfect example of how sometimes the simplest solution can be the best one. So next time you're soaring through the clouds in a white airplane, you'll know there's a lot more to that paint job than meets the eye. As we wrap up, I hope you've gained a new appreciation for the humble white airplane. It's amazing how something so common can have such a fascinating story behind it. From reflecting sunlight to saving fuel, from enhancing safety to easing maintenance, that white paint is a silent hero of the skies. So the next time someone asks you why airplanes are white, you'll have plenty to talk about. And who knows, maybe you'll even start to see those white planes in a whole new light. After all, in the world of aviation, even the color of paint has a story to tell. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the skies. And remember, in the world of airplanes, white is more than just a color. It's a carefully chosen feature that keeps us all flying high.